Alright, a wonderful good day everybody and welcome back to my channel, Got Shadow here. And we're back on Grixis control. I've made a couple of slight changes, but I haven't played Grixis in a while, so we're starting off where we left. So I put in, well, we already played 3 Creeping Tar-Pits. I wanted to have a second Mystic Sanctuary, so I cut an island because not a whole lot of the meta is actually going after non-basic lands, mainly due to Astral Ape, and therefore just many people playing basic lands. The main deck is widely the same. I just put in 2 Jaces to have a little bit more value and just to be able to loot in the mid game or very early on to not miss land drops, and yeah, and therefore we also went back to Serum Visions here. The rest of the main deck should be quite similar, and then this in the sideboard, so you see Flusterstorm here, which doesn't have an apparent use in the meta, but Flusterstorm is, I think, one of the best cards against Veil of Summer, because even if they have Veil of Summer backed up by something else, we can still counter it for 1 mana, so we'll just try it. Surgical to support our Jixler Jailers, and Colitus's Fulminator, as always, just against big mana, and Grim Lavamancer just in case we're running against a couple of creature decks, and yep. This way we're just jumping into a league here. Blue Moon was fun as long as it lasted, but just need more to do during a game. Francus Aurelius. I thought it was Mark Aurel. I'll have to look that up. Yep, it was Mark Aurel. Alright, I can keep this. So if our opponent goes with a higher, well, obviously we're playing against, fuck. Like, the only time I'm cutting an island is actually the time where our first game is against Ponza, and it doesn't even have an Arbor Elf here, but instead. So Drownloch won't help us game 2. So if we go with a Scalding Tarn, we can't use our Serum Visions. If he has a Blood Moon, then we might just be dead. If he has Land Destruction, then going for an island here and Serum Visioning is also going to be quite devastating. So I'm just going to go with the Scalding Tarn here and not do anything else. Alright. I'm not gonna go and fetch for an island here, and instead just go with the steam vents. It's a little awkward what we're playing here, but it's possible that he's not even like playing Gruul Spellbreaker in a Ponza list is of course possible, but yeah, he could just be a Ram Gruul deck, Seasoned Pyromancer. Now Dronalog can kill this thing here. Could of course also make him discard, but that doesn't seem too appealing. I think we're just gonna go with kill, and we have to kill this one in our turn as well. And then if he doesn't have a second red source, then he cannot play the Seasoned Pyromancer. Does have a second red source though. So we need to kill this right now, because he can't go below 2 here. And then we have 2 swamps, just in case our opponent's playing a Blood Moon. Although I'm gonna play the swamp here just in case he's still playing Land Destruction or Blood Moon, so I can snap in something, but this looks weird. Goblin Crater Maker. Well, this is actually pretty good, because now I can make him discard the Seasoned Pyromancer. Which will then only allow him to either go with Raging Ravine or so it looks like a more mid-range approach here, rather than going full Land Destruction. And Raging Ravine also doesn't imply a Blood Moon list. So now he has to make the decision on either going with Seasoned Pyromancer here, or risking attacking with Raging Ravine here. Okay. So we take 5. Which is not great, but still fine, since that still keeps us above 3. And our Creeping Tar Pits can also block the Seasoned Pyromancer tokens. So he has 3 mana afterwards, right? I don't think there is... like, nothing makes sense but to just destroy it. I knew it. I fucking knew it. And if it ticks down... Alright, ticking up. Yeah, we can't attack. We could bounce the Arbor Elf here. Definitely need to counter. Bouncing the Ren 6 doesn't make any sense. So we're just hoping to find like a lightning bolt here. Alright. So we're taking the damage here. Then I'm killing the Ren 6 with a Creeping Tar Pit instead of a Lightning Bolt, so that I can Lightning Bolt the Raging Ravine. And then we're dead to a bolt, but can play around everything here. And I don't know, like post board we could definitely be, oh my goodness. Yeah, this is worst case scenario because now of course you can still activate the Raging Ravine. Verdant Catacombs is not too threatening. So still have to kill the Raging Ravine, and now we have to find something for the Blood Braid. There's one other thing that we could theoretically do, of course, and that would be to just take the Arbo Elf and block the Bloodbraid Elf with it, because it's not guaranteed that we're going to draw something like a removal spell here off the top, and then after that we can still go with a target. Oh, there's a blood one. Well, that is much unfortunate. So we have to let the Blood Moon resolve, gain control, that's of course GG. So since we can't provide triple blue reliably anymore, I'm just not even gonna try it, and we're instead going for the mid-range plan here. Also because our opponent might be boarding in Veil of Summers, so I'm fighting less on the stack. It's a weird list, but I don't think our opponent's actually playing land destruction. So it was important to know that he's actually playing Blood Moons. But other than that, it's more like a Gruul mid-range list. No clue why, but it's not being fixed there anymore. Alright, basic swamp. Random 6. And I'm not sure if we're even going after the Blood Moon at this point. It's an Arbo Elf. Great. So he doesn't have a turn to play, right? And only 2 mana. That's not amazing, of course. Not sure. We could go after the Blood Moon and then next turn, of course, go the other way around. But it's impossible for him to play the Blood Moon this turn unless he draws like a Timsburg guy, which I doubt that our opponent's playing. We shall see. So now going after the Spellbreaker, and then next turn we have 2 Serum Visions to set up our draws. Hit command is good. Mystic Sanctuary I don't want to have yet, because we can't really facilitate it. Drone's also pretty good. So Lightning Bolt to the bottom, I think, because we already have a couple of Lightning Bolts. This is just joke, man. Just joke. So I'm doing this pre-draw just to hopefully reduce the number of possible Veil of Summers. There is a Wood of Foothills in the bin, so we're spawning here and trying to get rid of that. Ruin and 6. And our opponent has disconnected. Alright. If our opponent times out here, I think they have a lot of time. So I'm gonna stop the video until we get it back here. Alright, never mind. Our opponent actually got back pretty quickly. And I'm fine with this because, well, now it's even better, of course. Otherwise, oh shit. Yeah, sure. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go after the Raging Ravine here. I think that's worth it. Our opponent has had an insane draw in terms of spell density. Like, he must have a lot of lands coming up. Because 2 Ren and 6, 2 Blood Braids, so much stuff. Well, I guess at least it's not getting boring here. So, We're attacking with everything, having or keeping the Brazen Bar as a backup. And since we do have the better clock right now, I don't even mind having Ilon on the battlefield. Yeah, should have been. I'm just trying to reduce the amount of plays he has per turn. And then we're also coming in with Brazen Bar on next turn for 9. So basically anything off the top here that deals damage is lethal. Well, casting Wolf Run is actually a big issue. Currently it's like 4. So he's attacking for 5 if he wants to. And he can also use it defensively in order to so we're down to 10. Alright. So let's see. Our opponent just playing Blood Moon, no land destruction. Also, our opponent does have a lot of problems with Kalitas. Thoughtseize. We're playing against a very aggressive opponent. This Thoughtseize is still good here. Or do we want to have more counter magic? Fulminator Mage, of course. No, actually, Fulminator is going out, and we're bringing our Mage Charm in. I'm not saying it's necessarily better than Cryptic Command, but in terms of casting difficulty, it's basically the same, and we can sometimes catch something with it, and also if we have like a very island intensive troll, which we don't, but we're gonna keep since we have a couple of basics. So the one good thing about Once Upon a Time is that it cannot. So let's see. Might be running into. No. Well, that's one good thing. So. Do we have to take the Blood Moon? I think so, right? Has a Horizon Canopy and a Stomping Ground, so only one forest, but he also only needs one forest, if I remember correctly. Can kill the Eidolon with the Lightning Bolt, so that's not a big deal. And then the turn afterwards, part of me also wants to just take the Bloodbraid, because he has to fetch for a Stomping Ground here, or another dual land, in order to cast the Eidolon. No, I'm just going to go with that one. Because we would have to deal with a turn 2 Eidolon anyway, and if I go this card I actually didn't want to see this early. And if I go take the Bloodbraids, he plays Eidolon, then I still have to play around the Blood Moon, which I can't because I need to fetch for blue. My goodness. Alright, so he's gonna come around with the Bloodbraid. Probably another Bloodbraid. Oh, it's just getting better. And there's the Blood Moon. Awesome. Awesome. So we're never going to cast our Archmage's Charms. Taking the Blood Moon was not necessary whatsoever. I'm getting a little unlucky here. Also not being able to counter anything. Oh, that was somewhat lucky though. So I kind of want to play the Jace in order to kill the Bloodbraid. Next turn. And since we don't know what Healthsea is gonna pull, Narwhal, alright. I actually like that. Both of these. So, what do we want to do here? I think I want to incentivize our opponent to go for our Jace here with the Arbor Elf instead of playing something else to the board. I ran in 6. Doesn't do a whole lot, of course, but that also means this other card must be pretty good. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. I'm Master of the Felts, because now we can go this. Gruul Spellbreaker is also a good pickup. He cannot kill our Jace this turn. Next turn we do have another Jace and Terminate, or a counterspell and Terminate. Alright, so Jace keeps that one in check. And I think we're just going to play the other Jace here, because Drawing the Law basically combines our options with Logic Knot and Terminate here. And we just have a little more protection. Do I want to let that resolve? Yeah, I think. That's fine. So we're terminating the Arbor Elf here in order to reduce his mana. It's not because he does have, and not because of the mana itself, it's more because of the potential of a Veil of Summer that he can only activate if he like Arbor Elves for it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for it. Because as long as it's good, Logic Knot's good, we do have a little bit of wiggle room, and then our other J's can still go. YouTube Pierce Sprawl, sure. Oh. Guess that's green, sure. Do we want to Thought Seize at this point? Well, actually, there is better targets here. And another one, so that doesn't really matter. And here we're just gonna go with the Serum Visions to find a little more action. Brazen Borer I actually like in this situation. And again, yeah, our opponent should be drawing a couple of. And now with Borer, of course, we can also just bounce the Blood Moon. I'm not. The reason I didn't do that up until now is mostly because of Horizon Canopy. I don't want to give him more draws before we're actually ready for it. So since he's discarding anyway, okay. Yeah, now we're gonna do it. So I'm gonna bounce the thing. Oops. Sure. To play Mystic Sanctuary and get back, I guess, even not Mage's Charm at this point, because we can just bounce the Blood Moon again at the end of turn if he chooses to do so. Could of course also just go with the Thought Seize here, but we can also do that next turn. Yeah, that's what I thought. He's also utilizing his utility lands here. Alright, there's Blood Moon again. And of course, now the worst case scenario here is him just, she didn't do. Having and finding a perfect 2 moments. 2 lands. So now he still has the Seasoned Pyromancer as potential backup, but we're just adding to the board now. And this is certainly a reason why Brazen Borer is just a really good card in the shell. Have to be a little bit careful. I might actually be blocking at least one of the tokens there with the Snapcaster. Although, no, we potentially also have lethal once we draw a bolt or against Jace to 3. But I don't want to die to a double bolt. So we'll have to see here. We know he has at least one more land in hand. No, I'm actually going to block one. Yeah. No, I'm definitely going to block one. Could of course also just take one of the tokens. But since Jace can just keep it in check. Yeah, that's fine. 4 life I don't really care about. We don't really have good fetchable targets for that, so I'm just gonna keep it in hand. Our Relve doesn't do anything, and here. How do we lose here? If he does have a Veil or something like, that's why I was thinking about maybe drawing 2, because if we just draw a Lightning Bolt, we're just good here in general. Pretty rough game, but also pretty cool. So I hope you enjoyed that one, and we'll see each other in round number 2. Alright, welcome back to round number 2, everyone. I'm already getting a little bit Christmassy here. First jingles running up and down the radio. So, inspired by Blue Moon, I put in the Mystic Sanctuaries here, but I already put them out again. It's just not as strong in Grixis, and we're fighting a different fight here. With Grixis, we're mostly in the trenches and just exchanging shots here. With Blue Moon, you're more like the artillery unit, fighting from the back and then just blowing your opponent up. So we're gonna keep. It's probably have to fetch shock here in order to facilitate the terminate. Not necessarily, of course. But if we're playing against John, etc., I think it's still worth it to. Alright, I want to have both of them probably in this order. Then we can decide on whether or not we want to have the other submersion there. Oh no. Alright. Mountain is never good, especially not with that sideboard. So if I just go... I don't want to have the other submersions now. For the most part, just getting rid of the fluff here and trying to find actual solutions. Already down to 13. Okay. Weird. Oops. Don't know why Ash Zeleth will be in here. So if we don't... I think if we don't need to use the Augmented Charm here. Impact Tremors. Yeah, we probably can't let that resolve. So that signals that our opponent is actually pretty pretty heavy on creatures. Rubber of the Riches. Alright. Alright, so we're definitely playing against something very spicy here. I'm just trying to buy us as much time as possible. I think I'm gonna wait for one more turn here to get the Cryptic Command out. Doesn't appear that our opponent's actually fighting a lot on the stack. And that these lightning bolts might actually be some of the only types of interaction here. Again, Rubber of the Riches. Sure. Alright, let's have a look. Pulvers. Alright. Probably doesn't make sense to wait with the Cryptic Command here, because now we can actually go with a Tar Pit and keep Logic Not up. Then the Genesis Chamber actually is not a bad thing, I think. We have a couple of creatures, and our opponent has to resolve something first. I think I'm gonna let this resolve, since he doesn't have any of the... yeah. Excuse me. It's gotten a little cold here. Alright, I'm gonna go snap Cryptic here, just to get the Genesis Chamber trigger. And have a better clock. Counter draw. We can still decide later on to just get rid of the Genesis Chamber. So this comes in tapped, and I think we're just gonna attack again, because now we're already attacking for 6 a turn. Counter magic up. And our opponent doesn't have a whole lot apparently. So attacking for 3, and Jace is so important in this build, like I'm never gonna take it out again. So we have access to lightning bolts from the graveyard, yeah. Alright, so I wanna have the Kalitas, and I'll probably also wanna have Grim Lavamancer. I expect our opponent to fight us with Blood Moons. Can be playing the Thought Seizers though, so I'm taking out at least 1 Archmage's Charm. Probably run Cryptic as well. This way we still have 9 counters. Yeah, I think that should be alright. We have a couple of bounce spells. Could also be playing Flusterstorm, of course, but don't yet know what's really going on here. Alright. So probably have to start with the Sanctuary here, because Double Shock doesn't sound appealing, and as long as our drawing lock is just not good. Genesis Chamber. Nope. And that, of course, is a somewhat scary start. Alright. So I think I'm going to shock the Steamens here. Our opponent should be able to interact with us on the stack, so I can decide on whether or not I want to go with another Zealoth here. Can't really do anything about that. I mean, can counter, of course. Then next turn, makes sense to counter here. Because if every creature comes attached with another thing, that's of course not great. So Scalding Torn. And now we can get the Hologons command back next turn if we want to. Of course, need to respond here. I'm not sure, like our opponent had plenty of options of just going for Blood Moon here, so I'm not sure if he's actually playing Blood Moon, so I'm not playing around it if I don't need to, because our lands are already so fucked for the most part. So one more time here, an island, if we can actually play the other sanctuary, because I didn't fetch for Water Grave, but I wanted to have double. Red. We need to find the Kalitas, I think. So we can take a couple of beats, especially because Tar Pit can block the mirror next turn. And I think I'm going to let this resolve again, because we're just putting the Kolaghan's command back up, and then I get a sweet 2/2 there. Yes. We're already running pretty close here. So Brazen Borrow takes care of the mirror. And can of course act. So I'm a little bit surprised that our opponent hasn't played Norin yet. So I'm gonna counter this. We can do both anyway in turn. Alright. Now we don't really have anything to get back from the graveyard, therefore I'm just gonna let him run out whatever he has. And then go after his hand. Before us. Alright. This one. And then I'm going to play Brazen Borrow to still get the Genius Chamber trigger. And then I'm going to go after his hand. I can't do that. I'll need it for, oh my goodness. Cancel. Alright. So now, destroy target artifact. Nope, also not. Alright. Now it's everything I don't know what to do. So individually, I think another Forest, so it might be a third Forest in hand for our opponent, and that would of course be pretty bad. So up until now we have seen Ash Zealoth be the only creature with haste in our opponent's deck. So oh no. Oh no. Yeah, that was pretty bad for us, of course. Like if I can't bounce her right now, we're just dead. No. So I thought about leaving the mirror back. Yeah, I mean, we're just dead. Sad. But with the mirror, it was a 3-turn clock. Without it, it's a 4-turn clock because we only deal 18 damage with Brazen Borrow and Creeping Tar Pit. So I decided on going with it there. expecting an expensive spell, of course, in our opponent's hand. Alright. Still, I think for the most part, deck configuration is good. I think I'm going to cut one Criminalomancer again and put one more, well, actually Cryptic Command back in. Just to be able to also bounce the Hazareth should it come up. We're going to keep, I think, Inquisition into Jace on the play. It's quite alright. And then we have Kolaghan's Command to get rid of Genesis Chambers, and then we have to save a little bit of counter magic for potential Hazareths. So, by the way, by now, Veil of Summer's banned in Pioneer, which I believe is a good thing. Alright. 2 bolts are bad for us, of course, but on the other hand, there is no synergetic cards in his hand. So our Jace is probably gonna die many times over. But that's also a move that we don't take to the face, and he still needs to have a 2-mana creature, which he hopefully doesn't. And then we might be able to just drag this game out a little bit. Up to the point where so Genesis Chamber I'm gonna let resolve again. We haven't seen any creatures in his hand, and oh, we still have a counterspell. Alright. Since I want to fetch shock here, I'm not going to do anything up until that moment. Impact Tremors. Yeah. So we could of course also try to still go with another snap here, just making the game even faster from our side of things. But I don't want to have him have a second creature, and thus the damage here, so I think that's fine. And then we have a counterspell plus a counterspell backup plus Kolaghan's Command doing what it does by the end of turn if we want to. And we could also return the Jace, which I would do if our opponent decides to do nothing. Yeah, I thought so. Another lightning bolt here. It's also the only type of interaction I've seen our opponent use. So since I want to protect my Jace, I'm going to go with discard and return. Could also make it just a 3-turn clock by dealing damage to our opponent, but I think having the Jace here on the battlefield is still better for us. No, there's Force, which of course when it comes down counts as enchantment, I think, so therefore it should not trigger the impact tremors. And if our opponent doesn't play anything or just plays a land, I think I'm going to go with a second Snapcaster here. Alright, there's Hazareth again. Annoying bitch. But we are ready. So I'm exiling 2 cards here instead of 1, just so I have more looks with Jace, because right now I don't want to use most of the spells here. Yeah. Alright, cool. 2-1. Let's go to round number 3. Alright, welcome back everybody to round number 3. Currently sitting at 2-0, in which 2 potentially really bad matchups turned out to be slightly different in the way our opponents build them, which of course sparks uncertainty and therefore breaks open play patterns, but still turn out quite good here in both cases. So I don't think that Jigsaw Jailer is currently necessary in the sideboard. I'm already replacing a couple of cards here. Probably don't want to have Rectus Storm as well, but 2 Brutalities. I'm also probably going to take out the Augmented Charm again, as that is just it's a super good card, but currently I want to go lower to the ground again and have a little bit more of substance on the battlefield, rather than just going hard control, end of turn, draw step. And that is also a play pattern that Jace and Serum Visions, Inquisitions all very much incentivize. And then we have 1 open slot for the mana base, which I don't want to be Mystic Sanctuary, I believe. But we shall see. It's possible that that's just the next best option. But with Augmented Charm on, I might also just put back a single Blast Zone. Alright, we're gonna keep, depending on what our opponent plays here. So this could be Eldrazi Tron. Alternatively, it could also be, say, I put a card on top. So worst case scenario is probably a Chalice here hitting the board. And therefore, like, I want to go blue for the Augmented Charm, but we also kind of need the red. Therefore, would actually like to start off with Creeping Tar Pit here. But if the Chalice is common, then we're really in a bad shape. So just going Thoughtseize instead, omitting red for the time being. Alright, it's actually really good that I did that, because otherwise we're just being hit by a Blood Moon here. And it's insane that we're like running in the 3rd Blood Moon deck in a row, basically. And this is a bridge. No, it's actually worse. That was a lucky hit there by our opponent. Bottom. Ooh, yeah, that is really bad. I think I have to go with the Torpid here though. And then next turn we can go Snapcaster to hold off the Legion War Boss, and then we'll still have to worry about the Ensnaring Bridge and stuff. And we're already down to 14. Now 9. Doesn't help. Need a red source. And or alternatively next turn I will just take a goblin here and start blocking other goblins, since he's probably not going to attack anymore with the Legion War Boss. So if we're just being attacked by 2 here, I'm fine with that, because next turn we can just start blocking things. Alright, yeah, we're down to 7. So Torpid comes and tapped as well. I was actually hoping that he doesn't attack with the goblin here anymore. Yeah, but I'm still gonna get in control of it. And then take 3, going down to 4. I mean, we certainly can't go down to 1 here. So let's have a look first at our opponent's hand. Just a ritual. So it kind of sucks. But now this might still be a chance. Like, we take 2. Oh, actually, if he attacks with the Legion War Boss, we take 3. And we're dead. Alright. Okay. So in a first instance here, we definitely need to go after the Legion War Boss early on. But can we survive after that? Probably have to play the Snapcaster. To block a creature, kill the Legion Warboss, get a Snapcaster back, and probably don't use the Mystic Sanctuary. Alright. Let's have a look first at what's going to be on top. All of this is really bad. I think the Augment Shaman is still alright because we can take another creature, and I mean we still die here if he attacks with the Warboss as well, but my inclination here is, yeah, well, that is actually lethal. No, because otherwise I would just make a discard here, but yeah, can't do anything about that. Okay, I think I'm gonna put in Flusterstorm because the Pyretic Rituals in the beginning are still relying heavily on Blood Moons. No, I'm gonna be proactive here. And also play a Grimoire, probably even this way here. So we do have a decent hand, just as long as we get to at least fetch over 2 stuffs here. Not gonna fetch for the time being. Brazen Borrow is good because we also can bounce a Blood Moon. Or alternatively just go after the Chalice there. Which means also no bolts. No. I'm not going to do it yet because right now it's not doing anything against us. So opponent was apparently thinking about like playing Blood Moon or whatever. So I'm gonna fetch this for basic, but this is gonna be a Scalding Tarn, Steam Ents. Two Chalices and the Blood Moon. Alright, so I think we're just taking the Blood Moon here and going with the Jace. And then he can Chalice on 1 and or on 2, but we then have either a Cryptic or a Kolaghan's Command to get rid of them. Holding Jar off the top, alright. Well, we're bouncing stuff anyway, so don't really mind that. activate Jet. Would like to find a land if possible. That's good. Probably getting rid of the Snapcaster. There's nothing great in the bin. And it's a good target for Kolaghan's Command because our opponent has already a couple of just dead spells accumulated. Trinisphere. Weirdly enough, that also doesn't really bother me. But I'm still gonna go after it, I think. Oh, I'm not. Like, Logic Knot is not being affected by it, Kolaghan's Command isn't being affected, and Brazen Mara isn't being affected, and we can just jump in here. Of course, Lightning Bolt isn't as great anymore, but we could also just win with the Jace ultimate, and as long as Brazen Mara stays alive, I'm fine with everything else. Didn't know about that one, so that must have been his draw this turn. Yeah, and now he's like left with only a little bit of mana there. Alright, so since we know Chalice is a thing as a luck piece here, I'm gonna take out one Grim Allomancer just in case. And so Flusterstorm gets around the Chalice, but there's not a whole lot that we really want to hit here, so I'm just going to put in one Fulminated Mage. Also, well, actually, would it be worth it to play more than one? Just because we can play it on our Blood Moon and we can also block the Goblin tokens with it. No, I think I'm going with one once. Alright. Yeah. So we turn to Blood Moon, of course, wrecks us here. But if our opponent doesn't have a turn 2 Blood Moon, like we can't handle a turn 2 Goblin. And since I want to get around a Chalice here, I'm just going to go and already play this. Put this to the bottom, this to the top. Pass the turn. Just going to go for this turn with the Logic Knot here, running into a Blood Moon, of course. So I'm gonna go get rid of both of them, just because our opponent's also playing Simian Spirit Guide, and that is always a problem. Alright, let's take a look first. Both of these are actually pretty good. And I could also imagine just keeping up the Lightning Bolt here. Don't really want to be fetching a lot. But our opponent also doesn't have a whole lot in his graveyard. So I want to have the Drown. The Serum Visions is a different story here. I think that's also going to go on top. And then we're playing 11 Mansa. And the Torpid just in case like a Chandra comes down or something. Alright, braid. Nothing else. That's fine. Alright. Thoughtseize. Like, usually I would always put it on top, but this time around I'm going to put it on the bottom because I want to find some action. That's also why I put the swan there on the bottom. So I think I'm going to put in steam vents here. Reason being that I want to be able to Mystic Sanctuary next turn for Logic Knot. That's fine. No triggers. Good. Because sometimes it happens that I don't have a stop here. And so... yeah. That's also fine. So Polluted Delta is good because we can actually fuel our graveyard a little. Yes. Down comes the Jace. And we have a little Tron up. Plus, we can also get Drone back if we really want to. And now, Logic Knot's common, we get drawn back. And we also need the Blood Trip though. That's a little unfortunate. Alright, our opponent gave up. But from here on out, it's also, I mean, it's not impossible for our opponent to win, but it's close. So what I would have done here is probably played the Blood Trip tapped, keep the Logic Knot up. Then end of turn had a look what I would have drawn here with Fulminate Mage, and then next turn I went with the Ground Law. Alright, see you guys in round number 4. Alright everyone, welcome back to round number 4 here. 3-2-1s against red decks. All three basically Blood Moon decks. Although against the Enter the Battlefield shenanigans with Genesis Chamber, we haven't seen a Blood Moon. So I think the last card in my land base here is going to be Cascade Bluffs, which also means that I can support Archmage Charm a little better. So yeah, I think that's it gonna be for now, and then from there I develop the rest of the main board again. Because alright, Steeman's tapped already a little weird. We're gonna start off with a Warrior Grave here and an Inquisition. Yep, that's basically Blue Moon. So we can play around Spell Center for a while, I guess. Deprive is annoying, but the important card here is probably Archmage Charm. So I'm going to take that also because you can already play it on turn 3. And then if he wants to go and counter my Thoughtseize. So we're playing, by the way, we're playing against Blood Moon deck again, which is just insane. So I'm not sure what we can be hit by here. So I'm going to be aggressive, yeah. There's nothing really that Force of Negation hits against us. So I'm going to take the Deprive here. Keep the polluted delta open as long as possible. And then next turn... Well, actually, am I? Because with Brazen Borra and Kolaghan's command, it's actually okay if I have one blue mana source. And we also still have a counterspell, so... I think this is just going to be Steam Vents, and then I'm probably going to fetch for a basic here. Alright, so at least one was a land there. Deprive's gone, this gone. Alright, so we have a pretty good idea of what our opponent still does have in hand. And we're going to try our luck here with Brazen Borra. Also playing around the spell snare here and the force of negation as well. So either a cryptic command or maybe a snapcaster. And of course that polluted delta there can now go back on top of the augmented charm or the deprive. Yeah, that's what he probably thought about here. Putting the deprive back on top and then, or augmented charm, and then countering the Brazen Borra. Put a card on top. Deprive. And now Deprive, of course, becomes super annoying due to the Mystic Sanctuary, Deprive, Lock, basically being a thing here. Young Pyromancer. Alright, so he does keep Deprive and Spell Snare up. So let's see. If Mystic Sanctuary is the last card, like you already played a land this turn, so we might be able to actually discard the thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Brazen Borra here as a normal spell. And then if he wants to deprive it, then he doesn't get a trigger out of the Young Pyromancer when we kill it, which is pretty good. I think this is still the best of both worlds, because now we can't do anything about this. And alright, yeah, Jace is of course not super great for us here. I mean, we could of course just counter the Spell Snare, because the force isn't doing anything here, and with the Jace on the battlefield and the Brazen Borra in the sky, we might be able to take this over. I found something off the top here. Yeah, probably not looking for like a lightning bolt or something. Put a card on the bottom. Oh my goodness, and found it. And found it. What the fuck? I'm probably putting the lightning bolt back on top, right? Oh, mage sure. Alright, if we... So let's see. What do I want to do here? So I think I'm just omitting the Jace here right now and just get back to care about the Force. Force doesn't really do anything outside of potentially countering a Cryptic. Just dealing 2 damage here shortens the clock by a turn. Then he's really forced to find a solution. And the lightning bolt next turn or snapcaster would also be lethal. No, still gonna discard. Yeah, he's using it to draw 2. I'm just hoping to find a solution here, which apparently didn't happen. Alright, still gonna play the Brazen Boar right here, because he apparently only has 1 card. Yeah. Alright, so from the sideboard, what do we want to have? We definitely want to have Flusterstorm here. Pretty sure about that one. Jace is... I think I'm gonna put out the Jace and Terminates. And put in Kalitas. Yeah. Because we've already seen spell snares, there's not really, like on the draw, there's not really a good situation for us to go and get him. So I have to be careful. Interesting. So, since the Lavamancer isn't doing anything right now, but he could protect it next turn. So, just looking here, if our opponent actually does have a force of negation or something like that, and he does, deprive, force, opt, most of this doesn't really matter. And then next turn we can go Thoughtseize. I'm taking the Narset here though. So he's looking for lands here as well. Actually found the land here. Alright, so he's not even trying to actually do anything about that here. And now I'm taking the Deprive, going with the Mountain, and just killing the Grim Elements. And if he wants to go Force here, that's fine. So opponent might actually be looking hard for lol. Like what? Okay, I guess. So I'm gonna go with a Snapcaster over Bold here. Bold Drown Loch, I mean. Because he has to flip something first in order to really go over us, which he didn't do. So Force is still the only card there. Right. So we're actually playing against a Delva deck, which is quite interesting. So I kind of want to keep the drone in my hand though. So I'm gonna go. Oops. And I think I'm attacking here because like training 2 for 1 here is fine. I want to kill it anyway. I don't want to block it just in case. And yeah, he didn't flip it as well. So now we have something on the board. We have a Torpid backup. And we also do have a counterspell. So I'm going to let this resolve, because I want to see what he draws. Apparently also not an instant of sorcery here. Just a land. If we draw another land here, I'm just going to go with Torpid. But this is also alright. But I like it. Like Blue-Red Delver. Definitely something that I could see us trying as well. He just has an opt here, so I guess this is fine to just be countered, and our opponent scoops it up. Alright, see you around in round number 5. Actually, yeah, let's just play round number 5 here. Like, I usually cut the videos now because I know that for the duration of one video, or like 30 to 40 minutes, for the most part we don't have any glitches, so I'm like going through the rough process here of just making 5 videos each week and then combining them. But since this game was pretty fast, like overall 23 minutes, we're just... How was it 23 minutes though if we only recorded 17? Well, No clue, never mind. Oh, but Blue-Red Delver, I actually could see us try as well at some point. Like, if people are interested, I think it's actually pretty neat. But playing it with Opt instead of Serum Visions, because Serum Visions can set up the Delva pretty well. Not sure if that's actually good. It's funny that, like, if I'm looking at this trophy page here in the background, like, to most names I just have a specific deck in mind that these people are playing. Like, Predict is mostly on blue-white control. The Pen Sword or Thepen Sword or whatever is mostly on Blue-Red Moon. Baikondigia is mostly on Storm. Everybody has their very specific deck types to wrestle with. Alright, we're on the draw here. I'm feeling a little dizzy. Yeah, I should also have some Devilish Stiller flying around here in paper, so I might take a crack at that in real life as well. Yeah, we do have a decent hand. Alright, not against Tron though. And it's really bad. So I'm gonna go with Steamens here to hopefully find a fetch land to then have Logic Knot be at least decent. We're now a little flooded here, but no. Let's see. Opponent playing around shenanigans. So in my overall here, I already have Ceremonious Rejection instead of Flusterstorm in the main deck. Yeah. Oh. That's really bad. Like, we have a couple of outs, of course, but this is really, really, really bad. Reality Smasher. Off turn 3 Tron with Eldrazi Tron. Yeah, that's not good. So although this is the really, really hard way, I think we can kill the Reality Smasher, taking 4 damage here. Oh yeah, another one. Cool. We're gonna try it, but it's gonna be rough. We're down to 3 after this hit. And I think the only thing that saves us is Terminate. Drowning Block doesn't do anything. That's also a reason, like, in situations like this, like, just don't have Drowning Block for forever. mean, yeah. Certainly not super great. So this one's coming in. I want to reduce my one drops here a little bit. Probably in this way. Now we're at 60 as well. Just because of Chalice, because that sometimes just hits. We do have Drone in case we can get rid of a little bit of his hand cards first. Sure, 2 Jace is also good. And then from there we just have to see what we can do. Don't tell me you have a turn 3 Tron again. Huh. So going after Relic here only makes so much sense. Could also go after the Mind Stone, of course. I think that makes more sense here. The Relic is annoying, but he might be like, I mean, he can't always have turn 3 Tron, right? And in a natural way as well. Let's see though. Like, Relic is annoying in multiple ways, but if we can cut him off of his mana sources here, then we might be able to force him to just crack the Relic for no additional value. Okay, so apparently it has not too much. Let me put it differently. Apparently has a lot of lands and mana, and not a lot of other things. Yeah, I'm gonna discard the Acquisition. Doesn't feel good anymore at this point already. Huh, interesting. Opponent doesn't do anything here with 4 potential Eldrazi mana. And he's also not cracking the Relic. So if there's no Smasher coming here, just in case, that just feels like battery ship going up. So let's have a look real quick. Mystic Sanctuary by itself is pretty good, but also not insanely great. I think I'm gonna discard the drone here because he can regulate everything else quite easily with the relic. And then we can also take a hit of the mana reshape. I don't really care about that. Alright. I wanted to add the polluted delta just in case. We need to have 2 mana to cast the Logic Knot. Oh man, this is so weird. I'm not gonna play the Brazen Ball right here because of the Blast Zone. I don't necessarily want to get blown out here. And we might just get rid of the Mystic Sanctuary because there's just not gonna be anything in our graveyard that's gonna be good. Yeah. Don't really mind. Yeah, let's go with the Sanctuary here. So, can we force him? Potentially. We might be able to force him to use the relic here. Fulminate Mage. While Fulminate Mage is a good card per se, I don't really see how it's good in our current situation. I would rather go with like Cryptics or Kalitas or whatever. So I'm gonna put it to the bottom, also because Cavern's already gone. I'll put that to the bottom as well. I could have faked, of course, just put something to the top. But I don't really mind. And if he wants to crack the relic, now we can go and put the Zero Missions back on top. Alright, so he's going after our Brazen Ball right here, apparently. Another reason not to go for the Fulminate Mage here. Could of course also just go after the Eldrazi Temple. Alright. So the thing is, I'm gonna force him now, or I'm trying to force him to actually crack the relic here. Put that back on top. And then we're just going to counter that. Before. So then next turn we have 7 Visions potentially getting us something. I want to keep the Lightning Bolt in my hand as long as possible, therefore I'm not using anything here. So that potentially we can run it out in the end. And double bolt, maybe. Snap, snap. Just gonna bottom both. And potentially still better than just having a land here. Don't want any additional lands. And we can still snap Logic Knot for 1. Just in case. At that point for 2. Our opponent must be getting nervous here. Yeah, it's potentially a real Smasher. Mana Reshaper, sure. I'm gonna try to counter this here because if he uses a mana source, even with the land drop, he won't be able to utilize the Blast Zone. And then after that, we're potentially free to go Bolt Snap Bolt. Putting him down to 8 here. Yeah, I'm sure that's also an option. That was actually pretty bad from me. He can of course also just target himself. Fair enough. But the Tron wouldn't have done anything anyway, so it's not too bad. Can I go? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Lightning Bolt in now, right? Or not? Not just yet. So opponent's down to 8. Has a substantial number of cards still in hand, so I wonder what he's actually up to here. There's Tron, which is 7, 9, 10, 11. No, 10 mana for 11 for Eldrazi, 10 for a Walking Ballista, which would be 5 damage. But I don't want to be blocking here. If he goes for 10 with a Walking Ballista, then we should be able to counter it with a Logic Knot. And if he just keeps up the Blast Zone, then that's fine with me as well, because then I just go end of turn. Snapcaster. Call down someone, Lightning Bolt. And Breaker. Let's activate and see what we can do. I mean, we only have to, yeah. Basically only have to hit here with the Brazen Borra, and then he's already dead. As it stands, he's already dead anyway, so don't really care. Another mana reshaper. Yeah, so he's just keeping the last zone open here. Like, I'm not gonna show him the Kali does. That's actually pretty neat that I don't have to do that. And I'm also not gonna use the Jace just in case our opponent. Alright. Fighting the rough fight here again. So Fulminator Mage on the draw, actually, I don't think I want to have it. Like, getting rid of a potential cavern, of course, is a thing. Not being able to counter anything from our perspective is also really bad. But I think it's probably too slow. We're just going with our Major Charm here. Or are we? Alright. Probably getting wrecked by a single Cavern of Souls. And then we would have to win on the board. The good thing is that our only real counter spell is Logic Knot, and I can still hit other spells, because our opponent is definitely playing non-Eldrazi spells. And the other of our cards, like Cryptic and Drangaloch and such, can still act in different ways. Now, I would keep this. Our opponent's keeping 7. I think if we draw a black source, it's actually a pretty good hand. Well, we can't really rely on that, so I'm taking a mulligan here, keeping this, and putting back the snap. Oh no. Please don't tell me like your 2-draw temple Elements here. Alright. At least not that. Chalice. Sure. So Chalice is not a big deal whatsoever. A Thought Materia off the top, of course, is really annoying. A Reality Smasher would also be really annoying because we would probably have to bounce that. No. Just to be able to get to turn 4. We'll have to. It depends. Actually, could also just bounce. Like, you can't be considering not attacking here, right? We could also just ditch the Kalitas And then next turn go with Kolgan's command, destroy the Chalice. And get back the Kalitas. And that way we would also be evading a... Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, because that plays around... a Thornatia. Alright, now... we need to take a hit here, down to 14, fetch for 1, at least. We'll put us down to 13, and next turn we're at least down to 8. And from there, we just need to draw removal as soon as our Kalitas is down. Interesting, interesting, interesting. And Bringer. So this is going to be a swamp. I'm not sure. I think I'm actually gonna make him discard. Feels like this is the only opportunity here to actually get a good card out of his hand. Yeah, and I'm fine with the Mana Reshaper, although one has to say. So we could take a big chunk here of damage, but then after that we hopefully have the ability to go Terminate. Potentially have to go after the Endbringer though, and then just we have 3 mana, so we can grow the Kalitas to be a 5/6. Needs 2 mana to activate the draw card, which of course is the most threatening ability, but everything else is also pretty top. Alright, so taking 10, going down to 8 here. Yep. We have to kill the Endbringer in our turn, just so. That's actually interesting, because that gives us the opportunity here to just kill him, not attack. Of course, that's a downside, but now we're just blocking the Reality Smasher Dad, which is definitely good. And there is a point here where it might have made sense. Oh my god. Always this natural Tron fucking shit. So the good thing is our opponent didn't get any additional cards out of that Endbringer. The bad thing is, so what I was going to say before, there might have been a point where it would have made sense to already add the zombie counters onto our Kalitas to evade a Dismember, but in doing so I would not be bluffing a counterspell here, which might, yeah. So our opponent is actually bringing in another Endbringer, potentially. Okay, another Reality Smasher. If we can find a Snapcaster Mage, I think we can stabilize here. Our opponent's draw was pretty strong again. Yeah. I'm just gonna fetch for 1. For another black source, I think. No, must be blue. Only have 2 blue sources here. Of course, a dismember now would be devastating. But we can't play around everything, so that's fine. Alright, Logic Knot, not in the best spot here, but still a fine pickup. And I think I might actually be going for this year, because we have like 6 or 7 cards in our graveyard to actually do something with, and it appears that our opponent does have a couple of good cards in hand. Yeah, Warping Whale, such stuff. So we could go for a Thought here, I guess. Yeah, that is a problem. That definitely is a problem. That's a big problem. And he must have drawn that at the top. Can't play around it. That's fine. Cryptic. Kalitas just holding its ground here by itself. Of course, attacking with a Smasher into a Kalitas without having the solution doesn't make any sense. Logic Knot's not yet dead, thankfully. Although it's of course way worse now. There is another Urza's Mine. And he knows, like, if he just passes the turn here, we're just going with Brazen Barra. And start beating him down. It's also good to still have a Colligan's Command backup. I don't expect actually our opponent to have... Like, the worst thing that we have to be careful about is a Walking Ballista. Alright. So our opponent might be sandbanging some stuff. We're not able to do 2 things a turn. Oh shit. Oh fuck, I attacked with 1 creature. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. I mean, it's not super bad because we can still bounce a Reality Smasher here if he double blocks. But this. Oh my goodness. And I didn't attack with the Brazen Barra. Alright. Completely zooming out here, just attacking randomly with some creatures. Alright, this might be a Warping Whale, I guess. Yeah. And he's countering. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. On the plus side, we can actually take 10. So this is 8, 11. Next turn. I'm not sure. Like, we could be attacking for 11 here. So I actually almost got a really favorable position here, completely out of hand just by randomly clicking on a creature. That was pretty fucked up. Last zone is also really problematic. Yeah, what he has to be careful about here is actually a. So we have 11 damage on the battlefield. Yeah, I thought so. I actually thought so. Alright, we're just gonna go counter draw. Could also, or do we need to counterbalance here? I think we need to counterbalance, then attack with Tar Pit and Brazen Bara. So that counter return. Oh, we can't die next turn. If I had just attacked with the Brazen Bara, this would rather be somewhat easy. Easier, at least. Alright. So it doesn't make a difference if I just zero missions here. So I can set up stuff. And the Snapcaster Mage can flashback the Colligon's command. Does that make a difference? I think I just attack for 6 here, right? Attack for 6. And then next turn I can force him to block with a Reality Smasher if he doesn't draw anything off the top. So I'm going to put it to the bottom. Play this one tapped. Attack with these two. And just hope that our opponent does not have another Walking Ballista or a Reality Smasher off the top here. Alright, cool. We're gaining 5 life plus a token, if I'm not mistaken here, and the next turn he would have still have to draw a Walking Ballista. And played for at least 4. Now, oh man, if we lose this, that's just due to my one combat step that I just failed. But our opponent apparently has a plan here. Went for Ghost for, alright. That's his plan, alright. Yep. Yep. And that's reasonable, obviously. But we have maximum lethal here. Oh man, I should stop talking so much, right? Alright, another 5-0 here. I've already talked about a couple of the changes that I want to make. I don't think that Mystic Sanctuary is super good in Grixis. At least not if you're not playing like into the story as a top end. After all, I'm pretty happy with the build. I'm super happy about Jace being back in the game here. Never taking that one back out. Also, the 4-2 split currently is pretty alright. But a 3-3 split is also something that I would support. And then we still have to think about Archmage's Charm, and in between, depending on the meta, we'll always swap Brazen Borer against Nimble, so don't sell your Nimbles, I guess. Here's a slot open that I don't want to have the Jigsaw Jailer in right now. 2 Ceremonious Reactions are also fine. Yep, that's the leaf for today. Hope you enjoyed it. See you around, guys.